Hey, it's Man Fused. I'm Kay Lee, audio producer, voice artist, sitting here with my lovely crooner co-host, Ben H.
Oh.
Are you going to sing us a little ditty?
Probably not. I'm just not in the mood today. But thank you.
That's
Thank you
okay.
for the
I know you got a lot going on. So today we are going to talk about, I'm going to call it the Pimp slap heard around the world.
It's
okay,
crazy.
This
man.
shit went down last night. We're going to talk about that. And then I have something very special that I'm not going to give it away
It's a
right
surprise,
here. It is a
actually.
surprise.
I don't know what he's talking about.
It is like a masterpiece theater that will involve the two of us.
Beautiful.
It's going to be epic.
I can't wait.
It's going to be gut-wrenchingly funny and a potential catastrophe.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't, and this is a complete surprise.
It's
now
amazing.
Let's talk about the Oscars last night.
Yes.
The 2022 Oscars.
Right.
Chris Rock is one of your presenters.
Yes.
And he cracks a joke about Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. She shaves her head. I think she's...
Alopecia?
Alopecia.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. I was going to say Propecia, but I think that's a treatment.
I think it's alopecia.
I think Propecia is a product they use to treat...
alopecia.
Potentially. Something Pisha.
Yes.
So, Chris Rock...
She has a hair issue. Well, she's been shaving her head, basically.
Yes.
Like G.I. Jane.
Correct, and that was the joke.
Yeah.
Chris Rock said, Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see you.
Yeah.
Now, initially, it pans to Will Smith and Jada
He was
Pinkett.
laughing.
He was laughing.
She was not laughing.
No, and then you saw this eye roll. They panned away. So we didn't see like the
I want to
2
see what
second-
happened. Yeah, exactly.
In that like 2-3
I think,
seconds.
Like, she looked at him and was like, you better go bitch slap that motherfucker. He got real fast.
He did. And the next thing you know is he walks up on stage. He kind of like buttons his jacket as he's approaching. And Chris Rock's like, hey.
Yeah.
And it was this smack.
Pimp slap, bitch slap, full. I mean, he went all the way back.
Right. The Oscar audio after the pimp slap.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything else between Chris Rock and Will Smith.
Right.
But the Japanese version,
Yes.
which I'm going to play
Yes.
right here.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
ウィル・スミスにやられました。
My wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's
G.I. ジェーンのジョークだったんです。
fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Wow.
Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television.
テレビ史上最高の場面でしょうか。
So we are here.
He had trouble going on after that.
That was like you said, the bitch slap heard round the world.
And seen. But here's the thing. It is comedy.
And that's an assault on comedy.
Right.
And
You
if it's an
assaulted
assault on comedy, is an assault on the core of freedom of speech.
Exactly. And you know what? Will Smith, I find very inspiring. I don't know if you've ever heard any of his life.
For sure. He's great.
He's awesome. And he possesses this wisdom to him.
Yes.
What happened that night? I don't understand. How are you going to walk up on stage in the middle of the Oscars in front of millions of people and slap somebody because they said a dad joke about your wife, but you're not going to fight the motherfucker who banged your wife and was in a entanglement with your wife? Something's going on behind the scenes, or he's off his fucking rocker. He was laughing.
Dude.
The camera showed him laughing. Okay, so even if the wife signals, I'm upset,
Yeah.
and you're going to defend her honor,
Yes.
dude, that wasn't the way to do it.
Well, it's interesting because I think she sent out a tweet after he did that and said, that's how we do it. Or that's
the
how
son.
we do things.
No, that was Jaden Smith that said it.
I think this goes back to the entanglement.
You think it's finally getting
For
to him?
sure, dude.
And what, and Chris Rock set him off with his
It's like
G.I. Jane 2
Bro,
joke?
It's like when the cup is all the way full, just one little drop of water can make that bitch overflow, bro.
All right, you are right.
And
He
I
just
think his
snapped.
cup's all the way full.
His cuppeth have runneth over.
Well, when you're a public guy, and not only that, they did like this whole public, oh yeah, I had this entanglement. And he was like, whoa. And
you know he's had his side pieces
of
too.
course, but I'm just saying, like, why would he get so upset with Chris Rock about his wife's name
in a G.I.
in
Jane
a
joke.
G.I. Jane joke? It's because his wife's name has been in the press for the last, year and a half, 2 years, heavily.
I feel like it's
About
calmed
her
down for I haven't really heard too much about it. I feel like that was like so last year, but I mean,
Take out his aggression toward that situation. I mean, he wasn't happy about his wife getting banged.
right,
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
by someone other than him.
and he's probably happy to have her back. But then, dude, some people are saying the shit was staged.
Yeah, that I don't think was
I mean, the guy
staged.
went on to win an Oscar.
Yeah, he was a nominee. That didn't look staged. And Chris
all.
Rock was shook. Like, he
Shook.
couldn't really even get out, like, what he was there to do. He's like, oh, I'm here to present this best documentary. I mean, an Oscar for
That's
the best.
what you call getting this taste smacked out of your mouth.
Look at that. Hi-ya! We're looking at a picture. It's like
It's
right
beautiful
after
form.
the slap. It was a beautiful.
I mean, look at that form.
I wonder-
He's got his left arm up here for balance.
He's done it before.
Yeah.
You can tell that is a master. He's like Bruce Lee.
He's got a hell of
the
a
pimp
slap.
slap.
Yeah, he does.
Walking up and slapping a man across the face.
Dude, I mean, this is like better than Kanye taking the mic from Taylor Swift.
Way better.
Way
I mean,
better.
dude, this overshadowed everything that went on.
Then didn't he win?
Oh yeah, he won.
So he won an Oscar after bitch slapping a comedian.
And he gave an acceptance speech, and he apologized to his fellow nominees, but nothing to Chris Rock. From what I've been reading, there's something in him and Chris Rock's past where they have crossed paths before. I don't know exactly what it is, but I don't think they're on the best of terms.
Yeah.
But he was laughing. Will Smith was laughing when the camera was on him and he made that joke.
Yes.
He thought that shit was funny.
I think she saw him laughing, and she gave him a look like, if you don't do something about this right now, you're going to be the one that gets bitch slapped, because here you are laughing at a joke that was told about me.
At my expense.
Right.
Has anybody ever made a comment to your wife? You were in a position, do I defend her honor? Because to me, some things are just not like words are words.
Yes.
Your fucking wife is a fucking bitch, and you know,
Right.
yeah, blah, 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 and I'm going off. Yeah, I probably deserve to be punched in the fucking mouth.
Yeah.
But one comment, I mean, it's a joke. She
Right.
does have a bald fucking head. He didn't say you bald-headed bitch.
Right.
He just made a reference to G.I. Jane 2, which, if you've never seen that movie, I think it had Demi Moore in
That's
it.
right.
She shaved her head. She went into the military,
Right.
to serve. So that's all. And it was funny, and it wasn't as bad as some of the jokes are, I feel like, where they're
It
dogging
wasn't
out
about
people.
the entanglement.
Yeah,
I mean, that would have been even deeper.
Yeah, if he would have said,
I guess that entanglement caused some stress, because
yeah, that's why the hair
that's
loss.
why she's losing her hair.
Even after he made the comment, he was like, what? That wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where someone has...
Honestly, not that I can think of. I mean, maybe if I
Well,
really
here,
thought
let
about
me
it.
start right now.
Have you?
I'm just-
I really haven't, dude. I mean,
And I've talked about this on the radio, in part of the radio show that I'm a member of. My wife is kind of a fucking firecracker.
Yeah.
So, she'll go off on a motherfucker,
Yeah.
especially if she's a few drinks in. A mutual friend, someone we both know,
Yeah.
who lives in my neighborhood, actually, the
Yes.
first time we met them, the husband has no fucking filter.
okay.
None. And I wasn't there, but
Yeah.
apparently he started just randomly referring to my wife as DSLs.
Oh, nice.
I mean, she kind of does have DSLs. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with him. It is disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't, call out your wife's features
Right.
and then add a dick in there anywhere around it. Like,
Yeah, like, damn, bro.
Man.
Your wife's got some DSLs on her.
yeah. But not only did he bring it up and mentioned it to her, he started referring to her
As-
as DSLs.
Yeah.
I had told this story to someone else about it. I would have fucking punched that motherfucker. I'm like, it's just words.
Yeah.
It wasn't criticism.
Yeah.
It was a sexual thing that was not
It
appropriate.
was womanizing.
Yeah, what a fucking
Let's go kick his ass.
chauvinistic bitch. We're going to put our fucking...
Now that Will Smith did this, we need to go bitch slap that motherfucker.
I'm going to go fucking back in time, and I'm going to go and just walk up
Fuck
to
that.
people.
Do it now.
That's
This
what I'm
is for
saying.
something you said 2 years ago.
Pay up, sucker.
Hey, bitch. And don't press charges like Chris Rock.
Well, Chris Rock's not pressing charges.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think he should?
It's hard to say, not knowing
what the history
the
is
backstory and everything.
and the history between them.
But I think that, you know, a guy, you should, I don't know, man. It just, on so many levels, is fucked up because I think Will Smith, there should be some sort of price to pay because you can't just walk on stage on a comedian. I mean, that's the bigger thing. It's an institutional, I don't know, man. It's like
He is a host. He is hired there to present.
And he's a comedian.
But he's there
to make fun of people.
And there
he's
to
there to roast everybody that's in the front row. If you're in the front row of anything that Chris Rock is doing, you are now subject to getting roasted. Dave Chappelle or any other fucking comedian, if you sit up front and somebody calls your wife out for something, you just sit there and laugh. That's what you do.
Dude, this reminds me of a
You
time.
don't go up on stage and bitch slap the motherfucker.
When we went to Atlantic City, we attended some C-rated comedian.
Yeah.
We sat close to the front row.
Yeah.
And didn't they call us out for saying that we were cuddled up under a blanket
yeah,
or
they
something
were.
like that?
Like we were gay boys.
Look at these two, all cuddled up under their blanket.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Did we have a blanket? We didn't bring a blanket. Yeah, we're sitting there with a piece of bedding.
We must have been sitting close.
Yeah, together. We're close to one another.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it was a quote-unquote work trip.
So yeah, from that point alone, it is an institution. You can't just walk up and smack somebody because of something that they said. Well, really, anybody.
But specifically a comedian. Here's the thing about comedy that's so important. It's fun to laugh at funny shit.
And it's fun to laugh at yourself and those around you.
Absolutely, dude. That's why, race jokes are funny. Sex jokes are funny.
Stereotype
jokes are fucking funny, man.
Right. It's a way
Making
of celebrating.
fun of people is funny. It's hilarious.
It's a way of celebrating our uniqueness.
Comedians, what they do is they go outside of the boundaries of what's considered to be okay to say. Does that make sense? Because you're like, holy shit, I can't believe he just said that. That's hilarious.
Right. And it seems like comedians have been dumbed down and really put in this box as to what they can't say anymore because of cancel culture.
Well, it's like this whole, yeah, exactly. Like the whole thing with Dave Chappelle on Netflix talking about trans people.
Right. And I don't have a problem with trans people.
It's a vagina, but it's not really a vagina.
And you know what?
It's funny, dude.
It is funny.
And it's true.
There's some truth to it.
She does kind of look like G.I. Jane, too.
Yeah. Granted, if she has a medical issue, she probably did. And it's at her expense. And the spotlight is put on her in a kind of negative way. Yeah. And if I was her and I was being called out for cuddling with you under a blanket and, or whatever it was, I'd probably not be comfortable in that moment.
Of course.
But you're a celebrity. You're there at the Oscars.
Bro.
If you don't want to be seen, stay the fuck home.
Here's what I think. I think that he was getting himself out of what was going to be way worse.
An entanglement.
Yeah, if he didn't go do that, he was going to be paying a whole lot worse than anything that could have resulted in charges being pressed, lawsuits being thrown, any of that shit. Whatever he was going to have to deal with as a result of not doing anything and just sitting there laughing, was way worse.
Could you imagine in bed that night? You wouldn't stand up for me, you pussy.
Oh, it was over.
You fucking pussy.
Oh, that was it. He just saved his marriage for the second time.
Why don't you go tuck your wiener in between your legs and walk around, you pussy?
Now he's getting whatever he wants.
They could take away his Oscar.
I mean, dude, it was a really bad thing that he did. I mean, Lance Armstrong lost
a ball?
7 championships.
For cheating.
For doing the same thing
that
all of the cyclists do. It's a game of not getting caught. And he retroactively got caught with a new type of test.
Right.
That uncovered something. And then they stripped him of all tour championships. So one of the hardest things in the world. It's 7 years in a row. I mean, I don't give a shit what you're on, dude. 7 years in a row. So if that happens to him, I mean, this is a major milestone. You can just walk up on stage and fucking punch somebody. Or
Right.
shoot somebody.
Because they said something.
Because they made fun of you.
Right. Or, yeah, they
And you don't even
fun.
have to apologize. And you're such a badass that you're not going to get charges pressed and nothing's going to result of it. Oh, well, what does that say?
Well, I think Chris Rock is trying to be the bigger, person. And I think he's handling it very well.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's making Will Smith look even worse by him not,
I think the Oscar should handle it for sure.
I don't know that he's won an Oscar before.
He ought to win an Oscar for that slap form.
Beautiful slap. I just don't agree with what he did. They could have gotten out of the car and been fighting. She could have been like, "You don't ever stand up for me." And then the limo doors open. And then all of a sudden this opportunity is presented. And he's laughing at the joke. And then he catches her eyes. And he's like, "Oh, fuck. Okay, here we go."
He was like, I got to go up there and handle this right now, or what is coming for me is way worse.
Yeah.
I'm about to get my ass kicked.
That's marriage for you.
I'm about to get my ass kicked if I don't go kick your ass.
I'm not getting pussy for
nothing. Nothing.
Even worse than that, you're going to hear the nagging every time a fight happens. You wouldn't even stand up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least one thing he did do was stood up for her.
Right.
That's the fact.
But as soon as he walked away after he slapped him, he's like, "God, I cannot believe I just fucking did that." And now he's getting in trouble in a whole other way.
But not with her.
Right. Yeah.
Which is probably the objective.
That bed is nice and warm when you get home.
That's exactly right.
And her bald head and everything will be naked.
I can lose $50 million. I can lose $100 million. I'm Will Smith.
Right.
I can lose an Oscar.
Right.
I can lose all that shit. But guess what? When I come home, I'm going to have some cookies waiting for me.
Cookies. Okay. Moving on to the surprise, Ben.
Yeah.
So
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, you should be. I'm going to hand you a script, okay? I've mentioned before that I am a voice artist.
Yes.
I've done many things in my voiceover career and still getting to do new ones.
Yes.
This was something from a few years back that I was hired to do.
Yeah.
And it was narrating an erotic novel.
Oh, my God.
Okay? Yeah. So now what we're going to do, because when you watch a porn, you see everything going on.
Yeah.
When there's no TV and there's no visuals, you are the visuals.
That's right.
So there's a lot of adjectives in describing a particular scene.
Yes.
Quadruple X.
Yeah.
So instead of the dirty words, like pussy and cock and anal and whatever, sweat's not that bad. We're gonna substitute. You are gonna insert. See what I did there? Okay. Fruits and vegetables in the names.
I'm going to.
Well, we both are.
Okay.
We're going to take it paragraph by paragraph.
Nice.
Now, I want you to start off, and I kind of highlighted sort of where their potential pitfalls could be, okay? Now, I want to start, hold on, I want to set this mood. This track, if anybody wants to know, is called Bananas and Melons.
Stop.
I swear to God. So we're going to start off. I turned around, okay? That's in the middle of the page. It's right there. You'll take that paragraph, and then I will go with the next one, okay?
And I'm placing vegetables or fruits.
Fruits or vegetables or anything you want. I mean, if something doesn't make sense, then, if you got to say asshole, you can say asshole.
Okay.
But it's funnier when you insert fruits and vegetables, in my opinion. Now, I didn't when I recorded this.
Right.
And I probably had to record some parts so many times because I was giggling through it. Because I'm like, the fact that I even have to say this is funny. All right, you ready? Now, I want you to feel it, Ben. I want you to be in the moment.
I turned around, lifted my leg in the air, and let Hannibal slip his banana into my seashell. It wasn't easy for him at first. It was tight, but he added pressure, causing my little orange to wrap around his head with a snap. It was a little painful because I hadn't been fucked that way in a while. But when he grabbed a mini bottle of lube and rubbed it on his cucumber, and my seashell, the pleasure outweighed the pain as his cock sank deep.
Oh, it's my turn. Oh, that was funnier than I even expected. All right.
I had a hard time with coming up with fruits for holes.
Right. Well, seashell works. That's fine. Whatever. You can put anything there. God, that's funny.
Is there a fruit with a hole in it?
I was going to use starfish. Starfruit.
Thanks for the pro tip.
Yeah. I let him repeatedly glide in and out of me, sharing the flow, the rhythm of all the three bodies behind me, as well as we all became one. I melted in the sounds of moans and dirty words surrounding me, the excitement of people crying out, urging on the eruption of orgasmic pleasure. And oh, fuck yeah! And then, oh, shit! There made my mango tingle and butterflies dance around my stomach. Hannibal lifted my leg in the air just a little bit higher, spread my cheeks. Spread my cheeks and hole more. I relaxed and let him do most of the work. I surrendered. Please keep going.
Then I looked over at the jacuzzi and noticed a familiar face and unfamiliar plump breasts submerged in the bubbling jacuzzi water. It was my friend Karen.
Oh, hey! No, I'm just playing. I'll go. You can go. Do another paragraph.
I wasn't sure if she'd agree or not, but fumbling with the strap on, I put it on anyways, never stopping or slowing down. Hannibal, as he sped up the motion of his hips, his thighs slapped my ass cheeks, louder and faster with each plunge of his hard piece.
Looking hungrily at Karen, I hoped her mango was ready, because I was going to show her a side of me that she'd never seen before or felt. I'll read the next one. I'd prepared to call out her name, but figured it an injustice to her if Hannibal and I were using aliases. Plus, it was difficult to call out anything besides a wail of painful ecstasy. God. Hannibal was flowing in and out of my starfish with heavy thrusts. His sweat dripped, sticky skin slapping against mine, but I kept my eyes on Karen, who'd gotten out of the jacuzzi. I must admit, I feared she'd walk back into the mansion before I had a chance to share this wonderful experience, and I gathered all the strength I needed to call her by her nickname.
Honey Bunny, I yelled, exasperatedly. She turned in my direction, and boy, did her eyes grow wide as silver dollars. The shock of seeing me at the front of the sandwich fuck momentarily paralyzed her.
She was also shocked by the guy who snuck up behind her. He gently put his hands on either side of her waist, but she only flinched. Actually, the guy looked familiar to me as well. I stared harder, and then it hit me. I'm like, that's Karen's fuck buddy, Mr. Johnson Dickinson.
John D for short.
John D for short.
He sat back on the lush grass, pulling her down onto his lap. Laying back, she straddled him without hesitation and let his...
Kielbasa?
What is that thing? Eggplant.
What is that thing?
Let his eggplant slide into her pretty little mango.
Mango.
She threw her head back, her mouth open, and started tweaking her nipples with her fingertips as her body and breasts bounced up and down.
John's pecker. John's kielbasa was like the holy grail of kielbasas. It was so damn thick, and it had to stretch 10 inches at least. I couldn't understand why in the hell that motherfucker wasn't ringing her bells in the bedroom. And suddenly, a part of me wanted to find out, to sample it.
I turned around, the banana still pumping in and out of my starfish, the strap-on bouncing around wildly in front of me, and kissed Hannibal. I let his tongue explore every section of my mouth as I took glances in Karen's direction to make sure she saw me. I wanted her to see me and invite me over. I wanted to try out that eggplant that made her face grimace in both pain and pleasure.
I'm going to read this last paragraph, man. Karen's legs must have gotten tired, so she rolled her body over onto her side, and John rolled right with her, never missing a beat. His eggplant stayed deep inside her tight mango, never slipping out, never missing a beat, making long, deep strokes inside of her, the way the muscles in his ass flexed. With each push turned me on even more. I couldn't resist. My covetous nature arose like a phoenix from its own ashes. My desire was too strong to suppress any longer.
Doing just what I'd done to the guy in the kitchen, I clenched my starfish, which at first must have given Hannibal a rush of pleasure, then pain. He pulled out of me, making that popping sound, and his heavy eggplant fell on my starfish like a slain snake. He reached around me, his fingers groping my breasts, and slid his hand back and forth across my nipples, sending shivers throughout my chest.
I stood up, the muscles in my starfish throbbing, my mango pulsing, and my legs weak. I was ready to move on to John. He was my conquest, the must-have dick of the night.
When I approached Karen and John, there was instantly a fire in her eyes. It seemed at first an eagerness to bond, and at the same time a fierceness I couldn't quite place. She turned the corners of her mouth up in a smile, one eyebrow arched, looking seductive. Without saying a word, she reached out for me and pulled me down onto the lawn in front of her.
I was slightly hesitant because John's big dong was... Oh my God, hold on, I'm going to redo that line. I was slightly hesitant because John's big dong was still inside her mango. But she gripped the tip of the dildo and positioned it in the opening of her stretched mango lips.
Jesus.
Slowly helping me guide it inside of her. And scene!
So basically she was taking a strap-on and a banana.
Dude, I couldn't tell you what I just read right now. I don't even know the scene. Like,
I think she doubled up there.
I remember reading about John's big dong.
It sounds to me like Karen was doing double time.
Dude, I have the entire book, and every chapter is just as raunchy as this. I mean, we can make this an ongoing thing. That shit was fucking
hilarious.
funny. And the fact that you had no idea it was coming made it even better.
I
Hey,
had no clue.
Thank you for listening to the Man Fuse podcast.
Peace.
Next week, see ya.